Hello, and welcome to the Jared Hurst Podcast. This podcast is about understanding ourselves, others, and the tools that you can use in order to transform your life. This week, I wanted to talk with you about changing your life in 2 months. Why 2 months? Well, it seems fitting based on how things are going in my life, so that's what I wanted to talk with you about. Now, you've probably noticed that I am not podcasting as much this year as I was last year. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, it's very time intensive in order to create a weekly podcast. So there's that time obligation that comes into creating the podcast. And the reason I haven't been creating as much is because I've been spending a lot of time creating other things as well. I have been getting certified as a breathwork facilitator, breathwork coach, however you want to refer to it. And I've been building that business and spending a lot of time and energy on getting everything going between websites and business LLCs and everything else that goes into that. It's just been a lot of time and effort on my part. In addition to that, I'm also working on my career as a public speaker. I want to have seminars and things like that people can attend. So I've been putting a lot of time and effort into that. And then on top of all of that, I've had some things going on in my personal life. So I've been spending a lot of time working on myself, working on the things that have been going on and just coming into my realm. And as such, that's why I wanted to talk with you about changing our life in 2 months. I look back at my life 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, and it's crazy to me how things have changed. You know, I'm going through a time in my life right now where I have been so happy, so excited, and had such incredible moments in my life. And right now, I'm going through some really difficult things and some really difficult emotions. It has been an incredible journey. It has been an eye-opening journey. It has helped me see how far I have come as a person, how much I've grown, and it has been really beautiful. It has been awesome to have moments in my life that have helped me really gain a perspective on my personal growth and where I'm at. And also helping me see where I still need to grow and where I still need to develop. In addition to that, it has given me opportunities to work on implementation and taking a lot of the things that I have been learning and putting them into practice and really integrating those things. I've had some really great moments where I've been able to break down some protective walls and barriers that I'd put up in order to help keep myself safe. I have had some really beautiful moments as I've learned to really embrace my faith and my belief and grow that area. As I've had just some miraculous moments. If I were to go through and list everything that's happened, your mind would be blown. And maybe at some point I'll do an episode on that. I'm not sure if I want that to be part of my podcast or not, but we'll see. But the interesting thing is I've had a lot of things happen in my life that have helped me to build my faith. There have been a lot of things that have happened in my life that have helped me to see evidence of things greater than me. And all of these things have happened, and a lot of them have happened over the last 2.5 months. So why am I talking about this? As I have struggled, as I have been going through this period of time recently, where I've had some really strong emotions, some really difficult times, I've had some grief. I've got to put a lot of the things that I have learned and a lot of the tools that I've developed into practice. Now, I was already putting these things into practice, but as my friend Henry likes to say, new level, new devil. You It's funny how God and the universe bring new challenges and new opportunities for you to put things into work and to really implement at higher and higher and higher levels. So I have gotten to a certain point in my development on how far I've come with my ability to validate my own emotions, with my ability to allow myself to truly feel and experience things as they come. I am a strong believer that one of the main problems in society, one of the main afflictions of humanity, is our inability to allow ourselves to feel, process those emotions, and validate our emotions. That emotional constipation, for lack of a better phrase, has become a severe issue in at least the United States. And so I've had a really great opportunity to get good at allowing myself to feel emotions and to validate my emotions. And now I've got to a new level with new, more intense emotions where I get to practice this at a higher point. And it's not easy. And I was thinking about how overwhelming it can feel when you have difficult things going on in your life, when you have fears, when you have anxiety, when you have sadness, when you have grief, when you have all of those at once. It's really complicated and challenging in order to really know how to care and love for ourselves properly in those moments. How to both have a positive growth mindset and to be compassionate and loving towards ourselves. I've struggled with it recently. And I've thought, how can I help people that are struggling in this same situation? How can I help myself through this situation? And one of the things that really stood out to me, one of the things that really resonated with me, is how much can change in just as little as 2 months. Now, does it need to be 2 months? No. It could be 3 months, it could be a year, it could be a couple weeks. But if you think about your life, if you think about the moments where you've had dramatic, massive change, how long did those moments take? Maybe there was a lot of prep work that went up to it. Maybe there wasn't. But I bet you've had times in your life where you can look at your life and you can see dramatic shifts in a very short period of time. It blows my mind how much change and growth and development has occurred in my life in a 2-month period. The amount of spirituality awakening that I've had, the amount of embodiment and acceptance of self-love, the release of insecurities, the breaking down of protective barriers that I've created, the amount of empowerment and embodiment that I've stepped into. I have moments where I shift down. I have moments where I shift up. And what's great is I'm getting more and more consistent with my ability to be the man that I want to be. And I still backtrack a lot. It's frustrating. It's really frustrating to reach this pinnacle and feel like you step into a new version of yourself and then look back after 3 weeks and be, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I let myself get out of this. How can I get myself back? That's frustrating. But that's not what this episode's about. So we'll get to that another time. The point that I want to make to you is whether you're having an incredible time in your life, whether things are meh, just normal, or whether things are really difficult, is how fast things can shift. One beautiful person can come in your life and have a profound impact. I can think of multiple times in my life where that's happened. People that became my friends, people that I had relationships with, people that were short-term, pivotal individuals in my life that helped me learn a lesson. Experiences, moments, realizations, so many little things that I've had happen in my life that as I look back, I can see where all of a sudden I had a massive shift because of that influence. And so whatever you're dealing with right now, whether that's joy and happiness, you're gonna have struggles at some point. And if you're still experiencing those struggles, you're experiencing those difficult times in your life, realizing that it is only temporary. It is only a phase. And joy is about finding happiness in the moment that we're in right now, not by looking to some future experience that's going to happen in the future. As long as you keep putting your joy in the future, and we've talked about this before, then your joy will be in the future. So what do you do? Outside of changing your perspective around joy, which is a different episode, what do we do when we're in those really hard moments and we're struggling and we're trying to figure out, how am I going to get out of this? How am I going to have faith? How am I going to feel optimistic? And I think there's a couple of key elements there. One, you cannot invalidate your emotional experience. When you invalidate your emotions, when you put those things to the side and don't allow yourself to feel, when you downplay how difficult the experience is that you're playing, that you're going through, the thing that you're dealing with in this moment, it's going to continue to affect your life. You may not realize it, but it is. It is affecting your life every day when you do not allow yourself to feel and experience the thing that you are having, that you're going through. With that said, it's about shifting your perspective from the things that you can't control and all the things that can go wrong to the things that you can control and all the wonderful things that you can create. As you put your time and effort into something showing you that tomorrow is going to be a better day, you start to feel optimistic. You start to feel like something can change and that your life is going to be better. And it makes the thing that you're dealing with that much easier. That doesn't mean you invalidate your current emotions. That doesn't mean you don't allow yourself to experience the grief or the pain or the anger or the fear or whatever it is that you're going through. But it does mean that we don't sit there and ruminate on an emotion that does not serve us. We allow ourselves to process. We're compassionate with ourselves. We're loving with ourselves. And then we shift our perspective to the future and to the things that can be amazing. You are in a state of fear. You could continue to focus on the thing that you're afraid of, the thing that is hovering over you, that may or may not happen. And it's important that you feel that you allow yourself to express that emotion, to talk with other people, to work through what you're experiencing, and then ask yourself, how can I love myself right now? And how can I shift my perspective to something that's going to be better? My dad is dealing with some some fears around his health. And I don't want to go in too deep because I feel like I want to be respectful to him. And I think he'd be okay with me talking about it, but I don't feel like it's necessary to go really deep into it. But he's got fears. And it's like, okay, you definitely need to feel this. You definitely need to experience this. And we had a really good talk the other day about everything that he's going through. And then it was like, all right, what can you do in order to give yourself a situation where you can feel more hopeful, less fear, more faith, more optimism? And we started talking about all the different things that he could do to start moving himself in a positive direction in order to help him deal with what he was, experiencing, and to give him a better future. And there's some things that he can't control. There's some things that I'm going through that I can't control. But I can focus on the things that I can. And I can learn to accept the things that I can. I think acceptance is a really key, powerful thought, emotion, whatever you want to call it. When you look at grief, they say that grieving, the process of grieving is learning to accept what is no longer. So like if somebody's passed away, accepting that they're gone and that they're not going to return. And I think that's true of a lot of different emotions, whether it's grief, sadness, anxiety, fear, anger. Learning to accept those things that are out of your control helps make it easier to move on and have a better outlook for tomorrow. And then it has to be accompanied with inspired action. You have to take action that is purposeful and meaningful and can actually help create that mindset that is going to serve you and make things a little bit better. I know as I've been working through these emotions that I'm dealing with, I have fears. I have pain. I have grief. I have all these different things that I'm going through. But I know as I look through my life that I am being watched over and that I am loved. I can see that every time I have had struggle, that I have risen up and I have been resilient, and that things have worked out to help me be more of what I want to be. So it's reminding myself of my faith. It's acting on my faith. It's being loving towards my emotions, and it's continuing to build towards a better future. It's not easy. I've got a podcast episode that I want to do where I want to talk a little bit about these things. Well, we'll save that for later. I'll tell you exactly what I mean in a future episode. That might even be my next one. I think I've covered the main things that I want to let you know about today. If you're in a hard time in your life, it can change. And it can change quickly. One thing happens, and then all of a sudden you have a completely different outlook, a completely different perspective on life. Because you can see where, there's hope. I believe in you. I know that you can do it. And until next time, remember, that you are not alone.